David Stearns has hinted at top prospects being called up in September. What's going on, YouTube? It is Randy, and this is the All Things Mets channel, where it's your latest Mets media. Everything you know about the Mets on this channel. Definitely do me a favor. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy baseball content and Mets content in general. Let's get into today's video, and that is going to be about David Stearns and his comments regarding top prospects Luis Angel Acuna and Brandon Sproat. We're going to get into overall a bunch of topics about those top prospects. So let's get right into the video, guys. David Stearns had a press conference literally yesterday about the overall team. And he was having a lot of questions with the media about top prospects like Brandon Sproat and like Luis Angel Acuna, and also the September call-ups that are going to be happening in September, because we're only, 2 weeks, 3 weeks away, from September. So it's coming up, and the Mets are going to have a position player and a pitcher that can possibly be called up in September. So there's a possibility that Brandon Sproat and Luis Angel Acuna or Luis Angel Acuna could be brought up in September to the major league team, to the Mets, and help them out. Now, he was asked multiple questions about, is Brandon Sproat going to be a possibility? Is Brandon Sproat going to be on this team in September? The media just kept asking questions about Brandon Sproat. And David Stearns basically said, right now, he's a AAA player, and he doesn't really want to talk about AAA players. But if it meets the need for the team at the time, then he's going to possibly bring him up. And that is good news for Brandon Sproat and good news for the Mets, because so far in AAA, Brandon Sproat has had 2 starts. In his first start, he allowed 6 runs in 3 innings, but he had a really good 2 innings, and then he allowed those 6 runs. It was his first start in AAA. His second start in AAA, he had, two or 3 innings, and then he was ejected because of an umpire and him and having a disagreement. So 2 starts for the kid, and hasn't really gone amazing. Brandon Sproat hasn't had amazing starts to say that he deserves to be in the major league team. And David Stearns knows this. He's paying attention to what Brandon Sproat is doing in AAA. He's paying attention to everything that has to do with Brandon Sproat, because when it comes to the Mets in the bullpen or as a starter, the Mets are possibly going to have a need in September. So if there's really a need for this guy to be called up, there's a possibility he could be called up. Now, will David Stearns actually call him up? I think David Stearns is going to be aggressive, when the September call-ups. If it meets the need of their team, let's say Brandon Sproat has a couple of good starts coming up and he dominates in AAA, then it's a possibility that he can be called up. Now, going into the other prospect, and that is Luis Angel Acuna. Luis Angel Acuna is an infielder, the brother of Ronald Acuna Jr. Luis Angel Acuna has done pretty good this season. He's been up and down, hasn't had an amazing season, but definitely he is, I believe, batting 260 right now, 270. Hasn't hit a lot of home runs, so the power really hasn't been there. But he's literally not a power hitter. That's the thing about Luis Angel Acuna. He's not a power hitter. He has over 20 stolen bases. This guy with speed is a top-notch killer. Once we see him in the Mets, in the major league team, wait for him to don't wait too long, because he will steal a base. He will get on base and he will steal a base. Now, Luis Angel Acuna has a good swing. They're working with him to get the ball more in the air. He did have a little injury there with his ankle, but he's back now, and he's been playing really good infield. He has a strong arm. He hasn't made a lot of errors. When it comes to Luis Angel Acuna, it's a possibility that he could be called up in September. But with guys like Jeff McNeil, with guys like Mark Vientos already being on the roster, guys, Lindor ain't going nowhere. Lindor's a shortstop. And Luis Angel Acuna is a second baseman. He could play outfield. Now, it is a possibility that he can be called up. It is a possibility. But will he be called up? I don't know. I really don't know. I think David Stearns, if it really meets the need of the team, then he's going to bring up Luis Angel Acuna. And maybe he'll come up. Maybe he'll be, if the Mets make the playoffs, maybe he'll be on the playoff roster or something like that with his speed. His speed is top notch. He's one of the fastest guys in baseball. I can't wait till he comes to this team. But I think his bat is good. I think it's not you're not going to get the most explosive bat, in the world. But I do like his bat. I think he's coming around. He's learning a lot of things. He's trying to get the ball more in the air, but he's also just trying to stay to himself. He's trying to stay to what he was doing, what got him up here, or what's going to get him up here. I think he's going to stay doing that. So when it comes to Luis Angel Acuna and Brandon Sproat, there's definitely possibilities that these guys could be up in September. It's a possibility. And with the need for, let's say, Brandon Sproat could be called up and he could be in the bullpen. He could be a bullpen piece for the New York Mets. Now, the Mets bullpen, they have a lot of people. It's going to be definitely a competition with so many guys. But I like Brandon Sproat. I like this kid. I think he's young. I think he had a really good AA. He had a good single A this season. And AAA, I know that Mets fans are clamoring for him to be called up, but he hasn't earned the promotion in AAA just yet. So he's had a couple of starts, like I said, and they haven't been really successful. So you can't really call him up now, but in September, you could possibly look at it, and maybe he could be called up. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Brandon Sproat is going to be called up in September, or do you think that Acuna deserves the opportunity? And where would you put Acuna? Would you put him in the outfield? Would you put him at second base? Would you move Jeff McNeil to the outfield? We know that Jeff McNeil is a versatile player and he can play anywhere, so maybe they'll put Jeff McNeil in the outfield. Maybe they bring Acuna up and he'll play second base. These games in September hopefully are going to mean something. So I hope that whatever decision that David Stearns make in September, it helps the team. That's what you really want. You want to help the team. You want the team to be successful. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the top prospects, Brandon Sproat. I'm going to definitely take a hard look at this guy, in AAA. I hope he just has some successful starts, because then you could call him up if he's successful. But if he's not, then David Stearns is like what he said. He's a AAA player, and he doesn't really want to talk about a AAA player. So those guys are AAA players, but let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about David Stearns' comments? What do you guys think about Brandon Sproat? What do you guys think about Acuna? Yeah, you guys are awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm getting out of here. Have a good one. LFGM for life.